Hi, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your November 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering all of the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. You can watch this horoscope if you are a Gemini rising, also known as ascendant, like myself, or if you're a Gemini sun or moon. I always recommend that you watch all three horoscopes to give yourself a really good idea of what you can expect for the month ahead. But generally speaking, you'll find that the rising sign horoscope will be the most accurate for you overall. So let's start off by looking at the Mars retrograde in Gemini transit. First of all, Mars stations retrograde in Gemini on the 30th or the 31st of October, depending where you live in the world. So Mars will actually be retrograde in Gemini in your first house, in your sign, for all of November, all of December, and it will be retrograde until the 12th of January in 2023. So us Geminis are definitely going to be feeling it. Now, with Mars being retrograde in your first house, this can impact you when it comes to your physical body and your appearance, your ambition, your drive, and your willpower, your persona, and the impression that you're making on other people. And I'm going to go into a few other things as well. So, because the first house rules over your physical body and physical appearance, you may be setting new goals for yourself. So maybe you want to lose weight, get more toned, or just change up your appearance in a way that is personal to you. Mars rules over muscles, so you may be looking at developing more muscle. And for some of you, you may be experiencing depleted energy levels, and you may be quite fatigued during this period of time. Now, the reason why that would be is most likely due to you working on your long-term goals and dreams, and that is because Mars rules over your 11th house, which is connected to these long-term goals and dreams. It also rules over your 6th house, and this is connected to work. So you may be burning the candle at both ends when it comes to your work life. Now, with Mars being retrograde in the first house, being the physical body, this can lead to there being inflammation in the physical body. You may be experiencing headaches, migraines, or muscle aches. So, just do whatever you need to, which I can't give any medical advice, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that is a possibility. And this can really see you having to access your deepest reserves of willpower and endurance. So you may need to use your stamina to achieve certain long-term goals and dreams. So in terms of the Geminis who will feel it on the physical side of things, this is more so my Gemini risings like me, and also Gemini suns. If you are a Gemini moon, this is not so much about your physical body. This could be your emotions, because the moon rules over our emotions and what's going on at an internal level. So maybe you're feeling quite anxious. Well, could be anxious or just frustrated or restless beneath the surface. And the same can be said for Gemini risings and moons, not so much suns when it comes to the emotional side of things. Now, like I said, you could be trying really hard to achieve a long-term goal or dream, or just like a big goal of yours. And in terms of the time frame, like I said, Mars is retrograde from the end of October until the 12th of January in 2023. So this is when it is crunch time, so to speak. This is when you'll be putting in the bulk of your energy and effort into, achieving these goals and dreams. But having said that, Mars first entered Gemini on the 20th of August, and it will be in Gemini in full, the whole transit until the end of March. So that's like a 7-month transit. So you could be acting on seeds that you planted at the end of August, or maybe sometime in September or October, but then the busy time is, during the retrograde itself. So some of you may be returning, which is the retrograde, to a former goal or dream of yours. Maybe you had to put it on pause. Maybe this is even something from a few years ago and you're bringing it back up now. But on a different note, the retrograde can see you readjusting and reassessing this goal of yours or this project. The 11th house is connected to communities, groups, wider networks, events, as well as things like conferences and webinars. So you could be, and so is the third house, by the way, when it comes to, conferences and webinars, etc., and presenting. But, it could be that you are working really hard on, putting something together which you're going to release to a large group or community. Maybe a lot of people are going to see this. Maybe this is something to do with social media and or a project or an invention or innovation. So again, you're just putting your personal efforts into this, but it will be challenging. I don't want to sugarcoat a Mars retrograde transit. So with the first house ruling over your persona, you can come across as a little it's more like verbally aggressive because it's in the sign of Gemini, not like full aggro. So just be careful with your words, which is Gemini, because Mars retrograde here can see you activating that silver tongue. So just know that if, let's say, you're going to confront someone and you've got a plan, which is not very Gemini, but let's say you've got a plan of what you want to say, just rein it in a bit, dial it back a bit. A little goes a long way and less is more while Mars is retrograde. Okay, so channel that frustration that you have and this restlessness, which is the retrograde energy, into ambition and being assertive. And for some of you, you could just have so many plans that you want to achieve, projects, I mean to say, that you're needing to cut back and trim those, especially because Mars rules over your 6th house. So it's like there's only so much that you can work on. There's only so much time in a day. So this is about triaging your projects, if I can put it that way, and just making sure that you are making the best use of the time that you have available to you. You may feel like you need to access a different level of courage and bravery to really go out there and pursue your goals and dreams. And, this may even be without the support of your community or your network or your friends, because Mars rules over your 11th house and it's retrograde there. So you could be pruning the friendship tree, as I like to say, cutting ties with people, making changes to who you connect with. And this doesn't mean like your bestie, this is your wider network. Maybe you're like, I don't really have time to just keep up with the amount of contacts that I have that I'm texting and emailing and catching up with. I really need to prioritize the friendships and the relationships that are important to me. And unfortunately, that may mean that some need to fall by the wayside. In a business sense, this can see you making changes to your target audience. So you could be reassessing who you want to be selling to, who you want to have buying your products, what kind of people you want to do business with. Some of you may not be able to service your current clientele list. Maybe this is a situation where you're needing to run a closed books operation, just dealing with the clients that you already have and you can't take more clients on board just yet. And maybe you're looking at scaling things, so that you can expand. But it's like you need to contract in order to go further, if that makes sense. So if you are a Gemini moon person, unfortunately, this can see there being discord with older siblings, because Mars rules over the 11th house. Having said that, Gemini rules over siblings anyway, so there could just be like tension in those relationships, and it could be with friends as well. And another thing I want to touch on before I move on is that Mars rules over your 6th house, which is connected to health, habits, routines, And Mars is a very sexual energy and it rules over our primal instincts. So during this period of time, some of you may be feeling quite sexually frustrated. Some of you may be trying to control your instincts to, go into fight or flight mode. You could be working really hard on your nervous system and trying to get that under control, especially if you experience chronic anxiety. And for some of you, you could just be wanting to cut out bad habits, change how you do things. And the most trying period of time will be from the end of October till around the 12th of January when the retrograde is taking place. So you may be wanting to get healthier. You may be putting all of your energy and effort into this. This may require you to take on a level of physical exercise and training that you are not used to. Maybe this is because you've received this advice from a doctor or a health practitioner, or maybe this is just you setting your own goals and you're just driving yourself really hard. Now, let's have a look at the total lunar eclipse. So this will occur on the 8th of November. This total full moon eclipse will be in Taurus, in your 12th house at 16 degrees, and it will be nearly exactly conjunct Uranus. So that means that there is another added layer of unpredictability. Okay, so already eclipse energy brings that with it. So it's part and parcel, but then Uranus is like, hey, I'm going to double down on that. So eclipses are difficult to predict at the best of times. Even for astrologers, and Uranus being in the mix just makes it all the more challenging. Nevertheless, we had a full moon eclipse already in November 2021, and this was in Taurus in your 12th house. So similar emotions may be cropping back up. So if you cast your mind back to around November 2021 last year, you may have a similar vibe, or there may be like similar themes that are being revisited. For some of you, this could lead to a huge breakthrough, a subconscious release, an energetic or emotional release because it is a full moon. This could see some of you overcoming an addiction. And with Uranus here in the mix, it's like you go cold turkey, or something happens which leads you, it's like a catalyst which leads you to go, I'm not doing this anymore. So it can be very powerful and very beneficial when we have an eclipse in the 12th house conjunct Uranus, because we can suddenly overcome an addiction or suddenly overcome a fear, and it can be instantaneous. So I'm definitely not trying to dismiss how difficult it is to overcome an addiction or a fear, but just know that this eclipse is on your side when it comes to that. Now, you may receive a download of information in terms of what to do. So let's just say that you don't go cold turkey, you're not overcoming this fear overnight, but now you have the information or the insight where you're like, I know what I need to do to get through this, or to, experience outcome X, Y, or Z. So there could be a sudden epiphany in that department. Now, it doesn't just need to be about fears or addictions. This could be about your own intuitive development, your own psychic development. Maybe you have a premonition. Maybe you have a dream where you receive a message, or the premonition is in the dream, and you just it's like a prophetic experience. All this can occur during meditation or a state of trance, or while you're under hypnosis. This can see you overcoming certain self-sabotaging behavior, or understanding the root cause of why certain things continuously do not work out the way that you want them to work out. So it's like understanding why you are chronically experiencing something which you deem to be having a negative or detrimental impact on your life personally. So some of you may have a very profound spiritual experience or a mystical experience. this could be with a psychic, with a tarot reader, or with an astrologer. Just by the way, this total lunar eclipse is actually opposite Mercury and Venus, which means that the sun is conjunct Mercury and Venus in the sign of Scorpio in your 6th house. So, because Mercury is your ruling planet, this is personally impacting you more than an eclipse in the 12th house ordinarily would, because it's drawing your chart ruler into the mix. So you could have a mystical or spiritual experience which is inexplicable. Maybe you're not ready for it. Okay, Uranus rules over shocks and surprises. And what is a shock or surprise if not something happening prematurely? You don't expect it. So maybe you weren't ready for this experience, or maybe you become aware of more information and knowledge than what you thought you were signing up to. Or maybe you didn't sign up to anything. Maybe you just have a mystical or spiritual experience that comes out of the blue and it really takes you by surprise, especially if you're someone who is quite practical and who likes to be able to see things before you believe things. So for some of you, this could be more of a psychological influence. So eclipse energy can lead us to feeling quite restless, a bit uneasy, or a lot uneasy. This can see you having disturbed sleep, whether this is can't get to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, waking up not able to get back to sleep but still feeling quite tired. So emotions can be all over the place. And if I had to put a time frame on it, well, first of all, could be from now, okay, because we've got an eclipse on the 25th of October. So we're already very much in the energy of the eclipse. So anywhere between now and mid to late November, okay, sometimes we're feeling the effects for 2, 3, even 4 weeks after the eclipse, actually. So it will be an emotional time. Generally speaking, it usually is during Scorpio season, which is starting, I think, on the 23rd of October. So just know that things will be sort of like up and down between now and, let's say towards the end of November. That doesn't mean that bad things are happening. It just means that there's that feeling of uncertainty, but also excitement. Eclipses can be exciting. There's that energy of things are about to change and I can feel it even if I don't know what it is just yet. So now let's have a look at what's going to happen when Venus enters the sign of Sagittarius. So that will be occurring on the 16th of November, and it will be in Sagittarius in your 7th house until about the 10th of December. So wherever Venus goes, whatever house it is transiting, this is where things can go more easily. We can enjoy what that house rules over, or we can receive assistance, from whatever that house rules over. So the 7th house is all about your personal one-to-one relationships. These can be romantic, business, or close friendships as well, like, your close individual friendships, I should say, rather than like a friendship group situation. So in terms of your love life, this can see you enjoying time with your significant other, restoring balance into the relationship. And Venus rules over your 5th house, which is connected to dating and romance. So this can see you injecting more romance into your relationship with your significant other. And on a different note, something really positive or really good could be happening in the life of your significant other. So maybe they're receiving praise or acknowledgement for, or compliments, let's say, for a job well done, or they're feeling good about themselves. Maybe you're finding them more attractive. Maybe they are more patient, or maybe there's just more love and romance and harmony in the relationship. Now, on a business level, this could see you making more sales, doing more deals. This could see you welcoming new clients, more contracts. Maybe you're going to be offering new services because the seventh house is connected to services, and Venus rules over your fifth house, which represents your business. So, this is for those of you who own your own business. Nevertheless, if you are in an industry or in a job which requires you to sell, whether that's, real estate, retail, whatever it is, doesn't matter. This can see you doing more deals, making more sales, and maybe some of you will actually get some really good feedback from clients or from someone that you worked with or collaborated with. So, lastly, with this transit, Venus rules over the fifth house, which represents children, and it is in the seventh house. And the seventh house is connected. It represents your second born child. So this could see you experiencing more harmony and joy within the relationship that you have with your second born child, or something really positive or good could be happening in the life of your second born child. So now let's have a look at one of the biggest transits for November, which is the Mars-Neptune square. And if you've watched other astrological forecasts, I'm sure that they all will be talking about this transit. So first of all, Mars will square Neptune 3 times. The first time was on the 12th of October, so a week ago from when I'm filming this video. Second time, like I said, the 19th of November, so that's what I'll be discussing. And then the third square that Mars will make with Neptune will be on the 14th of March in 2023. So squares are challenging aspects and they carry the energy of Mars. So I'm going to go through some best case scenarios because squares do not always lead to negative things happening. And then I'm going to go through the more challenging aspects of this square. So because Mars is retrograde in Gemini when it's making this square, this will absolutely impact Geminis. This can see you taking a risk, taking a gamble on your career, okay, which is Mars. Mars is that risky behavior, and having it pay off despite the lack of certainty with the outcome, which obviously that's what a risk is. That's what it is to gamble. You're unsure of the impact it's going to have. This could take a lot of courage for you to do or to take this action, for you to do what you want to do. Even if you're unsure about this direction that you're going in, whether this is a one-off action that you're looking at taking, or maybe this is something that you're going to plan to do again around March, or maybe this is connected to October as well as March. Nevertheless, this can indicate a change in life path, but you're just not sure what the results are going to be. So if you are a Gemini sun or a Gemini rising, this could indicate that your career is the focal point for this transit. If you're a Gemini moon, this could be more about relationships. I don't know if I want to start up a relationship with this person, whether this is a romantic, friendship, or even a business relationship. All this could be to do with your living circumstances, your property circumstances, and that is because the moon rules over property and our home. All this could be to do with family. Maybe you're deciding that you want to become a parent, but you don't know if you'll have the support that you will require, or there could just be some fear or trepidation surrounding that subject. And I'm saying this because the moon rules over family, and the 10th house, where Neptune is one of the parental houses when it comes to astrology. And that being the 4th house and the 10th house, they're on the parental axes. So some of you could be walking away from your job or from the industry that you're in altogether. Maybe you have no backup plan, but it feels right. Okay, so that's really tying in your personal choices and the action that you're taking, which is Mars in the first house. And then Neptune is giving something up, sacrificing, walking away from something. So that's Neptune in the 10th house energy impacting your career. So on a different level, this, in terms of the more challenging aspects, all right, this could see you quitting your job, but it's not planned. I've got frustrated. Boom, I'm just letting this go. I'm just deleting your website, your profile, handing in your resignation on a whim. So I would just caution you to really think very carefully about any major decisions that you are going to take with respect to, career altering decisions. Be careful not to take action, which would be Mars, based on information, which is Gemini, that is false, Neptune. That's confusion. Maybe it's a lie. Maybe it's deceitful, deceptive, manipulative, emotional manipulation could be going on. And this could be at the hands of someone else. And you're like, no, I'm sure this is right. This is the right thing to do. I'm going to take this action. And then after the energy of the square fades, you're like, oh, that was inaccurate, misinformation. Okay, so just be mindful not to make any major decisions. And this isn't just about career. This is like anything that could have a long lasting impact on you as a person, your public identity, your professional identity, action that you take that other people are going to be aware of. Just be very mindful what you're hearing around this time, because you may feel emotionally compelled, which is the Neptune square to Mars, to take action, which is Mars. But then you could look back on it and be like, oh, wish I would have thought about that, or wish I had more information first. So on a different level, this particular transit, if it's having, let's say, a challenging impact on Geminis, it could be that you're questioning your life path, questioning your career path, questioning your relationship status, or your personal or sexual identity, or some or all of the above. So this is a time where you can experience intense confusion about your future, what you want to achieve, how you're being perceived. You could be taking one course of action thinking people will react in one way, and then maybe it's the complete opposite, or it's just different. So you may just feel angry, which is Mars, and you don't know why, which is Neptune, or maybe you feel confused, which is Neptune, which makes you angry, which is Mars in the first house. So just know that we've already experienced this transit once. So if you're hearing this going, just know that we experienced this 7 days ago from when I put this video out. So that was the 12th of October. So what you felt around then may be cropping up around now. Having said that, I would expect this to be a little more intense because Mars will be retrograde. So this is a general reading, so just take this any which way that it resonates for you. Now, on the 23rd or the 24th of November, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Sagittarius in your 7th house, and this new moon will be conjunct Venus and Mercury, which is your ruling planet, my ruling planet too. So new moons indicate a new chapter starting. We're planting the new seed. And, because this is occurring in your 7th house, which I discussed with Venus traveling through your 7th house, this can see you on a romantic level, taking it to the next level, whether this is you were dating and now you're exclusive, or you're already exclusive and you're talking about moving in together, or some of you could be talking about buying a property, getting engaged, maybe you're planning your wedding. Some of you could be talking about renewing your vows. And for others of you, you could be talking about starting a family together. I can't remember if I said that or not, but Mercury is your chart ruler and it rules over your fourth house, which is family. So um, on a different note, but still on a romantic level, you could just be making plans with your long-term partner, significant other, about how you can inject more romance and fun into the relationship. And I'm saying this because the new moon is conjunct Mercury and Venus rules over your fifth house, which is fun and romance. And of course, Venus is romance. So on a different note, there could be an impact, a decision that you make together that impacts your status as a couple. And I'm saying this because, this has got, sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, that's right. This is because the ruler of this new moon is Jupiter. Jupiter rules over your seventh house, which represents your significant other, and it rules over your 10th house, which represents your public status and identity. So both your fourth house and your 10th house is activated. So, maybe this is you two deciding to become exclusive. You're announcing an engagement. You're announcing that maybe you're pregnant, your partner's pregnant, or that you're adopting a child, welcoming new life into your family. And of course, this is not all just on a romantic front, although lastly, this could be a month where single Geminis do meet someone, just throwing it out there. On a non-romantic level, a new moon in the seventh house conjunct Mercury and Venus could indicate that you're making a new friend, doing an important deal or signing a contract with another person. This could be for business. This could be for property. This could be that you are starting up a new business relationship or partnership with another person. Some of you could be making a new friend, and this person could become a very close friend of yours indeed. And of course, if you own your own business, some of you may be looking at offering new services in that business. And so, Gemini, that's all I have for you for November 2022. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and please hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos on this channel. I am still working on my 2023 horoscopes. These will be individual horoscopes at about 2 hours each. So these will be for sale pretty soon. Just, keep watching the website. I'm working hard on those. So enjoy your month ahead, Gemini, and I will see you guys in December.